Welcome to the first episode of SkyeQuake Reviews. I'm going to be starting off with an old TV show I watched as a kid. We always only had like 2 episodes of the show on tape, and I only had like the first and the 4th episode of the series. So this is something I didn't ever get to watch really until I grew up. So what I'm going to be starting off with is Lost in Space, the first episode called The Reluctant Stowaway. We start in the year 1997 as humanity prepares to launch its first vehicle into space for colonization due to their overpopulation, which I jokingly call the Bill Clinton Initiative. But I don't really agree with who they're sending out into space here. You've got a family. Yeah, I understand a family is needed for maybe colonization. But at the same time, you're sending a scientist's father, their mother, 3 children, and a pilot. I would think you would need a little bit more than that, but let's take this for granted. It was the 1960s. And plus, you have the chance that other countries are wanting to sabotage this flight. So would you really send your children with you on this? I know I wouldn't. It's not really fair for them. But they had the highest security precautions taken into effect. So, yeah, maybe nothing will happen, but wouldn't you rather be safe than sorry? After we see this, we see a person who is ready to sabotage the ship in the clip I'm about to show. That right there takes some real dedication. Especially seeing that this guy is a military colonel. You would think you could just walk out on the ship, with some reason why you're there, but no. You're going to put yourself in an enclosed environment that you can't see out of, and you don't know if anybody's going to be on the other side when you actually come out. So, that's not really the smartest thing to do, but, that's just my personal opinion. And now our friendly neighborhood saboteur reprograms the robot to sabotage the Jupiter 2. But let's be honest, it's kind of convoluted. You're going to destroy the guidance system, the radio transmitter, and the cabin pressure control system. Why not just have the robot destroy the radioactive engine? That way you either postpone the mission probably almost indefinitely, or destroy the ship. Having the robot do all those 3 things just seems stupid, even if, I don't know. I'm not an expert saboteur.
Turn that thing off, soldier!
Sorry, Colonel. There is no personnel allowed in here after 0-6 hours.
Do you know who I am, soldier?
Sir, I wouldn't care if you were president of the USA. I'd still have to put you under arrest.
Of course, that...
So wait, this MP is only trying to arrest him because he's on the Jupiter 2. He's not arresting him because, I don't know, maybe he should have heard the robot preparing his, list to destroy the Jupiter 2. That's just my 2 cents on this matter.
At exactly launch plus 8 hours, inertial guidance system, destroy. Radio transmitter, destroy. Cabin pressure control system, destroy.
So there's really only 2 options here. Either 1, he didn't hear this loud robot plan the destruction of the Jupiter 2, or 2, he heard it, but he's not letting this colonel know that he knows what's going on. But really, he should have been coming in with his weapon at the ready to take the colonel into custody. But that's beside the point. Hey, he lets his guard enough down to try to contact the officer of the day for the colonel to knock him out and throw him into the trash. Which, honestly, he was a trash security guard to begin with. I mean, otherwise, he would have taken this man into custody the second he walked into the room, not trying to wait for some authority for someone who's destroying the ship. And just to make sure you know this is our saboteur, after he throws the guard in the trash bin, he pulls out a little radio transmission and contacts his handler, Aeolus 14 Umbra. This is something I really wish hadn't gotten dropped, because this could have played out so much differently throughout the series. But after this episode, his handler never really gets mentioned again. And it's quite a shame. But then again, this is the 60s, so they didn't have as big storytelling as we have today with episodic shows that you can binge watch, in a day or so. But it's really a shame. And his character is so interesting, as we'll see later on. And now we see that he is also Dr. Smith, because he's treating the Robinson family. And you wonder, how is he able to also reprogram the robot? But then again, he could have just been given the information on how to do that. So I guess I can let that go. But at the same time, you now have to wonder, how ready is the Robinson family really? Since he's already planning to destroy the ship, he's not going through the full steps to make sure they're quote-unquote ready for this mission. It makes you wonder how everything could have gone differently if he wasn't involved. Then we have the Robinsons and Dr. Smith boarding the space vehicle. And here we get introduced to our pilot, Major Donald West. But we're only going to have one pilot on this ship. I mean, granted, they're going to be in cryostasis, but still, you would think you would need more than one, but hey. As this is going on, Dr. Smith notices that the robot power control switch is switched to off. So he goes down to the second level to see what's going on, and this we get a speech from the U.S. President commemorating this launch into deep space. And when it's over, you can tell the contempt that Dr. Smith has for this. But that's something else entirely. After the speech, we have the power pack removed from the robot. Which brings up something else. How can you have a on-off switch for the robot, but then have a power pack for it? Why would you, if you just had a little switch, why would you need the power pack? And if you had the power pack, why would you need a switch? Something to think about. As Dr. Smith is making sure the robot is ready for its sabotage, we get a roll call for the audience of all the members of the Jupiter 2 as they go into their sleep pods. Which, I don't really like this because there's a better way you could have introduced the characters' names. But hey, let's make it nice and simple for them, and let's get ready to launch this vehicle.
1, 0.
Realizing he's stuck in space on the Jupiter 2 for the moment, Smith puts the robot on standby and goes to head up to the first level to try and get himself back to Earth. But again, we have a problem here. Apparently, no one seems to be able to hear the robot when he's going off on something, like we'll see right now.
Incompleted circuit. Incompleted circuit. Damage may result.
On the upper level, Smith is trying to turn the ship around, not realizing, I guess, that it's on automatic controls. And then even as he tries to contact Alpha Control, apparently he doesn't even know how to work the radio either. You would think as a colonel you would know how to do something like that. Then the ship gets stuck into an asteroid field and gets clobbered by the asteroids because of his excess weight on the ship. He goes to Don West, who's still in his cryosleep, mind you, and tries to bang on it, essentially, trying to wake him up. Again, he's a doctor, supposedly, so he should know that this isn't going to work. So what he does is he gets a laser, shoots the pod, and then revives the Major to get them out of their mess.
This is thousands of miles in the wrong direction. What are you doing?
Waking up the Robinsons.
No, don't wake them.
Why not? It's their lives, too, and since I'm the only one who can pilot this ship, I'll make the decisions.
Have it your way, then.
It seems Major West might have read the script or something, because he seems to already think that Dr. Smith is a villain here, essentially. Despite the fact that he's been in a cryotube and didn't know what was going on until he was revived. Despite the fact that he's got a gun pointed at him, he chooses to revive the Robinsons and defy Colonel Smith. It's really the last time he's actually going to be referred to as a colonel, but hey. After they revive the Robinsons, Maureen Robinson collapses, and she's got to be revived the same way that Major West was. Then they're trying to decide if they should return to Earth or not, and they find out it's almost 8 hours since launch, and then Smith realizes, oh crap, maybe I should make sure the robot is completely disabled since I'm still on this boat. And then they have to repair the computer, and then that requires disabling the gravity. And then we have hilarity ensue with the children of the Robinsons and Dr. Smith himself. Smith barely gets the power pack off in time, just so Will Robinson can come down through the elevator and see the power pack being removed from the robot, who tells the doctor that he can't remove the power pack. Man, if only he knew what was about to happen. But Smith tries to play it off and says that he can teach Will how to teach the robot to play chess. And then he makes up a little fake infection that Will has and tells him to stay down here in quarantine. And then he goes up to tell his parents, but as he's doing that, Will sets the robot off. I mean, it was not technically his fault, but he did reinsert the power pack into the robot.
Destroy.
As the robot comes up to finish his job of destroying the ship, we get a nice little action scene for the time. They're trying to pull the power pack off the robot to keep him from destroying their life support systems, essentially. But the one big complaint I have about this scene is how Dr. Smith reveals himself by trying to get the robot to, stop his attack by ordering him to stop. Having foiled the robot, they realize that the scanner on the ship is damaged, and that's why they can't figure out where they are. So somebody has to go out and spacewalk to fix it. But this is where we come into another interesting problem that I have with this show.
I'm sure it's the NGS scanner. If you can fix it, we might be able to tell where we are.
I'll do my best.
Look, for the last time, spacewalking is part of my business. Let me do it.
Now, we've been through that. You're the only one that can pilot the ship. I'm expendable and you're not.
So you're telling me they didn't train anybody else on how to fly the ship? So if Major West were to say be unable to fly the ship because he's injured, killed, something like that, that the people on the ship are just screwed. Wow. I mean, I know they were supposed to be in cryo sleep the entire time, but you would still think that you would need something in case of emergencies. But no, we're just gonna fly by the seat of our pants. So as the professor goes out to fix the ship, his line snaps, and someone has to save him. Major West once again insists that he should be the one to do it, but before any discussion can be brought up, Maureen Robinson goes out to save him after they try to get Dr. Smith to do it, where Dr. Smith tries to pull a almost like a I'm a doctor, not an astronaut type thing, a la McCoy, but she goes out to save him, and as she tries to shoot the line out to him, he's not able to reach it, or that's how it appears, and then we get a cliffhanger for the next episode. This is actually one of the better episodes of Lost in Space, as far as I'm concerned. The only problem I have with the series as a whole is that I wish the rest of the series could have been like this. I mean, season 1 most definitely was like this, but when they started going to seasons 2 and 3, we had the problem of they were trying to make it more comedic. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but it just didn't have the charm that this episode did. I'd like to thank you for watching your first episode of SkyeQuake Reviews, and I'll see you next time.